Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! For context, this story took place 3 days before Christmas 2020. I was shopping for some sweet sugary treats, and the cast for this story is me, OP, entitled woman, Karen, and Carl, the store manager. I was one of the first customers in the store, so I figured I would be able to get in, get my purchases, and get out before any of the bobcats I want to talk to your manager, I want him fired, self-entitled Karens walked in. Unfortunately, that was not meant to be. 3 minutes after I walked in, the witch walked in behind me. Karen grabbing me.
Excuse me, I need your help. You should be helping customers with their shopping this close to Christmas.
Me attempting to brush Karen's hand away. I don't work here, ma'am. I'm trying to get some shopping done. I, like you, am a customer. Important note. The Dollar General employees wear a black polo shirt with a company logo on him, and a yellow name tag with a company name on them, as well as their name on a white sticker that is affixed to the name tag. Black or khaki dress slacks and tennis shoes. I was wearing a hoodie with my high school name on it, pajama bottoms and tennis shoes. So nothing like an employee. Karen now spinning me around.
I said I need your help. Stop touching products and do your job. Customers come first.
I'm getting pissed by now. I said I don't work here. I'm a customer just like you. I am not even wearing their uniform. Karen refusing to believe me.
You're lying. You are covering your uniform so you can ignore the customers that pay your wage.
I take off my hooded sweatshirt. Important note as to what I'm wearing underneath: a white Cleveland Cavaliers jersey from the Mark Price era. In fact, it was a Mark Price jersey just bought in 2019. Me showing off my Cavs jersey. Do I look like I'm wearing the uniform? I am quite clearly wearing the jersey of my favorite Cavaliers player of all time. And even if I did work here, I would not assist you on my day off. And if I was on the clock, I would not help you after you treated me like garbage. Karen, obviously insulted.
I am going to get your manager and have him fire you for refusing to help a customer.
She walked away, so I began to grab my purchases in earnest. 5 minutes later, she walked back and had Carl in tow. Important note, Carl is a friend of mine. We have known each other since I was 5 and he was 8. Karen to Carl.
This employee refused to help me. He was rude before refusing to help me 3 days before Christmas. He would rather buy his diabetes-inducing treats than help a loyal customer.
He says to her, I have known OP for 31 years. He has never been rude to anyone. He worked in restaurants for close to 10 years. He was never rude to a customer. You, on the other hand, I have never seen you before. OP is not an employee here, by the way. He, unlike you, is a regular customer. And now he, unlike you, is shopping here. You are to leave now. Karen, refusing to leave, turns to start shopping.
I will just leave him alone and buy what I came for, okay? If you want to keep your job, you will let me buy what I need to buy. This store is the only store within 5 minutes of my house that has this product currently in stock.
Carl grabbing his cell phone. I said leave. He starts dialing police non-emergency number. Now, if I press send, you will be arrested on loitering and I will have you trespassed. The Karen left. I finished shopping and I went home with a case of Dr. Pepper, 2 boxes of Twinkies, 3 personal-sized cups of Toll House ice cream, and 3 bags of Hershey's assorted miniatures. Karen ended up, because of her attitude, not getting whatever she was shopping for. Yeah, thank you, Carl. Hello everyone, my mother shared this story with me, and as my other recent posts did pretty well, here I thought I'd share this one that happened much more recently. Keep in mind that this is in the point of view of my mother, and this was relayed to me, so it may not be 100% detailed. Anyway, on to the story. My mother is due to have an operation later in the week, and was asked by her doctor to come in and have a urine sample done and blood withdrawn. My mother went all the way to the hospital to have these procedures done, and on the way back home decided to stop by the store to get some groceries for dinner. She decided to have tacos because the doctor told her to take it easy that day. While my mother was getting the beef mince for the tacos, a little child had come up to her, no older than 2 or 3 years old. She was in obvious distress. The child had obviously been crying a lot and had snot and tears all down her face and on her dummy. Binky pacifier or whatever you call it. Mama bear instincts kicked in for my mom and she bent down to comfort and help this crying kid. My mother had told me that this little girl was of Asian ethnicity and appeared to not speak much English, or at least much at all, and had walked up to my mother asking her, "Where mama? Where mama?" And my mother instantly knew that this child had wandered off away from her parents and had gotten lost in the depths of the store, something my siblings had done in the past a multitude of times. Naturally, my mother comforted the child and took her to the customer service desk and had told him of this child who had wandered off and was not lost. And my mother had stayed at the service desk as they announced over the PA that a child in a plaid pink dress named X was looking for their mother or any other parental figure that she came with. Cue the entitled woman storming up to the service desk, pissed as hell. At first, my mother thought that the entitled woman was pissed at her child for wandering off. However, she was mistaken when the entitled woman got all up in her face and practically screamed, "How dare you talk to my child? How dare you even touch or look at her? Who do you think you are?" My mother, much too tired to put up much of a fight, and also a bit drowsy from the blood withdrawal merely hours before, just calmly explained her child had come up to her crying and looking for her, and that she was a mother as well. My mother could understand to a certain degree with all the dangers and child predators out and about now in our modern world. However, yelling and screaming at the person who decided to help your child get to a safe spot and find you was not the way to go. The entitled woman was not having it. She continued to bully and berate my mother for her appearance, her clothes, her weight, her height. My mother is very tall, a trait from her dad and my granddad, and that such a selfish, fat and ugly woman could never be a mother, and she continued to threaten to have her locked up, charged with crimes that I don't even want to repeat, and sue her for all her money. Her child, who was now seeing her mother rant and rave with pure rage, was covering her ears and watching her mother argue, sadly still wet and red from crying beforehand. After bullying and threatening my mother, she then turned to the women behind the service desk and she started screeching at them, promising the same outcomes for every single person behind that counter. She bullied them about their weight and their age, their appearance, and the fact that they were working at some stupid little supermarket unlike her. My mother stated she stomped her foot, pointed rudely, screamed, and tried to climb over the counter to try and snatch one of the younger women's glasses off her face, all threatening to sue and charge them for talking to her child and threw things like a roll of foil, a roll of garbage bags, a packet of pork chops, a liter carton of skim milk at these women. My mother did not leave until the police arrived to handle it all, to give her statement and speak for the women at the service desk. A part of her thinks that this outburst happened through trauma she had as a child or had witnessed. Another part of her believes that she was just a big helicopter parent with some major entitlement issues. Never in her life had she seen a mother react that way to having their child reunited with them. The entitled woman didn't even address or even look at her child. That she was obviously upset, or dare comfort her or scold her for wandering away. The woman just came forward and started screaming at how she and her child were better than all of the stupid, fat middle-class fellas that dared to help her and her child reunite, and that their actions were not only not appreciated, but not wanted. When I went later, my mom forgot tomatoes and the ordeal. The woman and child were gone, but when I asked about it, the father of the child was called to take her away, and the mother was taken away in cuffs and into a police car. I needed to run to an outdoor shopping center on my lunch break the other day for some things. A couple years ago, an In-N-Out was put in, and the lines were, of course, insane. Even now, they will spill out onto the streets. Ever since they opened though, In-N-Out has had an established way to enter the line with cars waiting in a center lane to turn left to prevent people from holding up traffic by just stopping to turn right or to try to drive straight across the traffic from the other side of the street, which is where I was shopping. As I'm getting in my car, I see an unusually long line down at the stop sign. Now, this shopping center has heavily designed traffic directions, and you need to pick the right one to make sure you're not forced into leaving the wrong direction at the exits. So I had to go up and wait. Somehow, the car at the front is still there, but now there is only 2 cars behind them. As I pull up, the SUV directly behind pulls up onto the curb to go around the front car, and then the next one back turns around to find another way. I am unsure what's happening, so I pull up and see that directly across from us, the In-N-Out line has reached the street. There are cars to my left in the left turn lane lining up as they are accustomed to, waiting to turn into the driveway when there is room to do so. And then there is this piece of trash in front of me. Kids in the back, passenger in the front, their elbows resting on their door as if they have all the time in the world and are completely oblivious to the traffic jam they are causing. I am baffled and can feel a rage in my chest start to spread up the back of my neck. I'm waiting for over a minute as all these openings in traffic come and go and still they do not move or even seem to be paying attention. I cannot believe someone could be such a self-centered prick to continue to casually sit and wait when there is obviously not a way for them to cross as there is already a long line waiting and traffic is fairly busy in both directions. Just completely oblivious to the cars behind them struggling to find a way out of the situation. I am too close to pull out. There are cars behind me blocking me in, and I'm also just not about letting this clown keep this up. I am sure my dashcam caught some really obnoxious "Are you serious?" and "Move" from me at that moment. I could see the lady at the front of the line looking over at them making a face similar to how I was feeling, and from what I could see looking through their back windshield. They were posted up and very comfortable trying to wait it out until someone felt forced to let them cut ahead of them in line. I resorted to the only thing I could do, short of getting out of my car and embarrassing myself worse. I laid on the horn and I didn't let them. It was so loud and unending, and it was actually not easy to keep it going longer than a few seconds without it cutting off. If you're ever in this situation, be prepared to keep a lot of even pressure on that twitch and maybe use 2 hands. We are right in front of a Chipotle. There is shoppers and cars and businesses all over on either side during the lunch hour. Everyone is stopping and their heads are turning. The people waiting in their cars for In-N-Out are all staring at the lead car now, and some are laughing. I'm still seeing red. After about 12 seconds, which is an absolute eternity when you're drawing so much annoying attention to yourself, I see the driver in front of me start to panic, looking all around and suddenly turn their blinker on and pull out to find the end of the line and drive off. I see a couple smiles as I turn the other way to leave, but I am too tunnel visioned to enjoy any embarrassment that might have finally occurred to them. Moral of the story: do not be the guy stuck waiting for someone else to get their head out of their behind. It's probably not going to happen organically. So this happened about over a year ago now, but I used to live with an abusive/neglectful mother who has PPD and codependency issues. As such, it has been my job since I was like 9 to take care of her, my little brother, and the dog. By the time I was 12, I completely gave up on life and thought it was a mislabeled hellhole. In 2019, my mom moved us, me, 16 female, and brother, 15 male, into a hotel room and shoved everything we owned into storage. Due to bad planning, we moved by ourselves, me and brother, the whole apartment in a hurricane. We only had 3 days to do it, but apparently let us stay another 3 out of pity. Lots of yelling and exasperation later, we arrived at the hotel. Turns out me and my bro didn't pack toothbrushes in our suitcases. Out of 1, panic, and 2, being told that they were only going to stay for 3 days. It ended up being 6 months. At some point, my little bro was done. He and my mom got into a massive drag-out fight. He then moved out with my dad and he basically had to leave everything but the clothes on his back. I stayed longer under the illusion that things could change if I put in enough love. After I turned 17 though, I decided that enough was enough, and I decided to move in with my dad too. Now for the pity part, I promised to stay in till I was 18, but I had a plan. I was going to take as much stuff with me as I could. So I started to funnel as much stuff to my dad and bro as I could. I took movies and things my brother couldn't take with him. Things I wasn't supposed to take but did anyway. To be honest, she'll probably never notice as she was and still is a hoarder and has like 3 storage worth of stuff. But I grabbed those movies and as much stuff for my brothers as I could. And as petty and insignificant as it was, I'm proud of it. I still have that movie collection. It is out in the open and she's come over, but she never noticed it. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.